Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, our dear participants from across 54 African countries. And thank you for joining us today on yet another session, our TOEWA Masterclass Series 2. And joining me today is Angela. Angela Neke is our HH and UBA Board of Director. Also joining me is Adora Okoli, who is the Entrepreneurship Programs Executive at the Tony Elumelu Foundation. And there are dear Foucault Rollins, who will be translating to French. So just to give us an idea of how the session will run, we want the session to be very interactive. And, we would ask questions relating to the topic of discussion today and how you can relate it to your business, your entrepreneurial journey, and even your personal life. So we would really love real life examples. And, we want everyone to pay attention so you get the desired learning from the session today. So I don't waste so much time. I will hand over to our dear Angela Nike to take the session. And please, again, make sure it's interactive. So we will be watching the chat section and we will just be curating questions and comments from there. Thank you. Over to you, Angela. Thank you, Ma. And welcome again.
Thank you, Buko. Good afternoon, entrepreneurs. And welcome to webinar 2. So maybe we'll just start by recapping what we did yesterday. So who wants to tell us what we did yesterday? Not yesterday, on Tuesday. Who has had time to reflect and wants to share some thoughts, perspectives, examples on some of the things we did last week, on Tuesday? Foucault, maybe you want to interpret while we're waiting for comments.
Oui, bonsoir tout le monde, bonsoir chers entrepreneurs et bienvenue une fois de plus pour cette session de masterclass sur les séries de Tony, sa façon de faire. Donc aujourd'hui, nous allons faire la deuxième série, un ensemble de conseils et de partage de l'expérience de Tony. Et je suis Roland Foucault, mentor à la Fondation depuis la création. Et c'est Angela qui va nous entretenir durant tout ce temps. Donc, ce qu'on aimerait savoir, c'est partager avec nous quelles sont vos impressions et comment est-ce que le webinaire, le masterclass d'avant-hier vous a servi. Donnez-nous quelques exemples. Donc, on vous remercie. Nous sommes attendants. La session sera, comme la dernière fois, totalement interactive. Exprimez-vous sur YouTube, puis nous allons partager. Over to you.
Okay, so let's hear from everyone. Ibukun, do you have?
Okay, yeah, I have a few comments here. So Vincent is saying leaders should develop listening skills. That's what he learned from the last session. Ideation can come from anywhere and anyone, and that's from Amaka. Amaka also, there's someone else here that has mentioned, please hold on, okay. There are a lot of messages coming in. Branding, and it's important. It's very important to pay attention to branding your business and your idea. And there's someone here, idea can come from anywhere and anyone. So I'm just going through the chat. Adora, do you have any from the chat section? Any other comment from the entrepreneurs that you'd like to share? So Adora is going to give us more comments.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Angela. Good afternoon, Foucault.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so some of the comments I received was, I have applied the principle of strong branding focus, and this has given my business a lift. This was what I learned from Thank God I Am. Then Chigozie Onwuka said, we discussed about Tony Elumelu's principles and the model in which he used in running all his businesses. We looked at most of his business quotes, goals, and achievements. Blessing Iyang said, we talked about branding, achievements of the founder, disruption, and the importance of creativity.
Okay.
Barry Esege said, creativity is the most important skill in entrepreneurship. So that's some of the comments I received from my end.
Okay. So I have more comments here. So again, someone is saying ideas can come from anywhere. Customer service is very key in ideation. I learned that TOE is visionary, a calm leader, as well as a critical thinker. These qualities played a huge role in his continuous success, and I'm going to emulate this as I start my business. Then someone else is saying idea is very important when starting your business. So those are the comments we've been getting. More people are sending in similar comments. So those are the comments we have for now. Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent. Foko, any comments on your side? Is Foko frozen?
I think Foko is having challenges with his network, but I'll call him now.
Okay, let's move on anyway. Oh, well, maybe we should wait so that the French speaking. Foko, are you back?
Yes, I am back. Okay. Donc, on essaie d'échanger avec vous les commentaires des autres. Il y en a qui ont dit l'idéation est très importante en entrepreneuriat. La marque aussi est importante. D'autres sont revenus plus sur la créativité. Et il y a plusieurs qui ont dit l'idée peut n'importe où. Donc, voilà les valeurs qu'on a échangées la dernière fois. Over to you.
Thank you, Foko. So thank you everyone for your comments, your feedback, your examples, your perspectives, all very useful. Thank you. So today, webinar 2, we're moving on with some more business values from TOE. And basically, we'll be covering human capital, culture, rewarding performance, performance management, institutionalization and governance, hard work, urgency, meeting deadlines, having a can-do spirit, decisiveness, meetings, getting things done, being results-driven, and execution. So that's basically what we'll be covering today. And then just to recap my approach, so I'll always bring like a TOE quote, a quote from TOE on the specific business value we are discussing. I will give you a perspective from the literature review. What does the literature review say about that specific business value? And examples, I'll give you examples and from TOE, and then some food for thought from TOE. So that is my approach. So Foko, do you want to interpret that before I go on?
I am not listening to all of them, please.
Okay.
I guess he had network issues, so he didn't hear that part. The last, he didn't get that.
Okay. So do you want me to repeat it? Foko, do you want me to repeat it? You frozen again.
Yes, please, can you repeat?
Okay, Foko, you may want to turn off your video. Maybe it will help strengthen your network. If you turn off your video, maybe it will strengthen your network, okay? Okay, so Foko, what I was explaining is the business values we'll be going over today, including human capital, culture, rewarding performance, institutionalization and governance, hard work, a sense of urgency, can-do spirit, meeting deadlines, meetings, getting things done, being results-driven, execution. And then I also talked about my approach, which is a quote from TOE. And then I'll give some background in terms of what the literature says about the specific business value. I'll give an example from TOE on the business value, and then food for thought. So that's the approach.
Oui, donc aujourd'hui, nous allons partager une fois de plus sur les valeurs d'affaires plus spécialement sur tout ce qui est culture d'entreprise, sur la gouvernance d'entreprise, sur le fait de travailler très durement, hard work, sur le travail orienté résultat. On échangera aussi sur l'exécution, le fait de passer à l'action. On va aussi partager un certain nombre de citations de Tony et puis on reviendra sur son passé, sur son historique en prenant beaucoup d'exemples. Over to you.
Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to get my, I'm trying to share my screen. Give me a minute, please. Okay, can we all see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, really?
Okay, it is coming, it is loading.
Okay, you can see now. You can see the screen now, Ma.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Adora. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, so let's get started. So the first group of business values we'll be talking about today: human capital, culture, rewarding performance, and performance management. Those are the four, business values we will first discuss. And let's hear what Thierry has to say about these business values. Thierry says, talents I don't have, I don't regret. I surround myself with people who have them. Leaders don't do it alone. Assemble co-travelers. Identify talent and then help people discover themselves. Everything about achieving results depends on people. He says, one wrong hire and you can deviate from your strategic intent. Have people in the right jobs and ensure there's proper alignment. One of the toughest decisions I make is placing people. Putting round pegs in round holes is critical. People need to be placed in their natural habitat. When I get a hire wrong, I go back to the candidate's file to see where I got it wrong. When hiring, if negotiation with a candidate takes too long, it is best to pass. So these are quotes from Thierry on the 4 business values that we talk about. Going on so that was going on about human capital, rewarding performance, and performance management. Thierry says, performance management is key. We are a merit-driven organization. Wrong cultural values can kill an organization. Have a culture of excellence and quality. Emphasize quality in everything you do. And the next quote are things, I think I shared this on Tuesday, but I'll go over it again. It says, I think first we may know that you are what and how you project yourself. You know, we talked about this with branding. So let me not go over it again. So this was another quote from branding that's relevant also in the context of human capital and culture. So what does the literature say about culture? Culture is collective values and beliefs. What does it say about hiring? It says hire right. Ensure you conduct structured interviews and include key people. So when you hire, don't just have one person interview the prospective candidate. Ensure that you have a diverse group of panelists, and so that they can bring different perspectives to the interview questions. Hire smart. Put round pegs in round holes. Ensure that there's an organizational match in terms of skills, in terms of job. There's a job match. Ensure that even from a cultural point of view, from a values perspective, you're hiring someone who has the same sort of values as you do in your organization. Hire wisely, check references. So you want to hire a candidate, ensure that you hire, you check the background of that candidate, and then going on to measuring performance, the literature says, as we all know, what gets measured gets done. And it's so important to reward performance. So in terms of an example, at STB, remember Thierry took over a distressed bank, and winning customer accounts was so key, was so critical, because the bank had more or less was more or less defunct, and so winning customer confidence in financial services is so key. So customer acquisition was rewarded. Someone signed up Western Union and got a BMW. Someone signed up, a major customer and got a sports car. So just to give you a sense of the sort of rewards that were given. Obviously, you need to scale rewards to match your financials and the stage of the organization that you're at. Food for thought. So what Thierry says in terms of food for thought on these business values is performance is very strategic for business success. As an entrepreneur and as a business leader, I have found that performance is one of the essential tools for success. As an entrepreneur and a business leader, you start with a vision, you come up with strategies for executing the vision, you assemble the people who will execute the strategies, then you let the people know what success entails. So it's vision, strategy, people, and then performance criteria. If you fail to reward appropriately, in the long run, you will not grow a sustainable business. It is like a chain. If you do not reward, people will not deliver. If people do not deliver, there's no business. I have embraced rewarding performance as it is a very important leadership tool for getting things done. So let me let Foko interpret all that I've said on human capital and culture. And I'd like you guys to think about how does this relate to your businesses? What perspectives can you bring to your, to the discussion? What examples can you give in terms of applying some of these learnings? Thank you. Foko, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Donc, nous allons commencer la première série à travers les 4 points suivants: le capital humain, la culture, la récompense de la performance et la gestion de la performance. Donc, on va prendre quelques citations de Tony pour vous expliquer ces 4 aspects dans une entreprise. Donc, Tony dit par exemple que les leaders ne travaillent pas seuls. Ils mettent à côté d'autres travailleurs. Il dit, talent I don't have, okay, que les talents que lui, il n'a pas, il ne regrette pas parce qu'il recrute des personnes qui ont aussi des talents complémentaires. Ça, c'est pour ce qui est du capital humain. Il dit qu'il faut savoir identifier les talents et qu'on doit amener les employés à découvrir leurs propres talents. Donc, chaque employé doit lui-même découvrir son propre talent. Et tout se passe à travers la culture du résultat. Et ça dépend de chaque personne. Vous devez avoir vraiment la culture du résultat. Donc, pour ce qui est de la culture, il dit la gestion de la performance est la clé. La gestion de la performance est la clé dans une organisation. C'est ça qui permet à une organisation d'avancer. Il dit une mauvaise culture d'entreprise peut tuer une organisation. Wrong cultural value can kill an organization. La mauvaise culture d'entreprise peut tuer une organisation. Ça, c'est aussi l'une des citations de Tony. Il dit la culture de l'excellence et de la qualité encourage ou bien booste tout ce que vous faites. quand vous avez vraiment envie de bien travailler et d'être excellent, ça booste ce que vous faites. C'est aussi quelque chose qu'il faut bien noter. Donc, Tony dit aussi, la culture est collective. La culture, c'est une valeur collective et c'est aussi une croyance collective. Chaque entreprise doit avoir une culture d'entreprise. Par exemple, le recrutement, il dit qu'il faut recruter normalement, en respectant les droits. Il faut recruter smart, il faut recruter de façon très légère et soft. Il faut recruter sagement, en regardant les références. Ne recrutez pas les gens au hasard. Regardez quelles sont leurs références. À la limite, enquêtez même sur eux pour savoir ce qu'ils ont fait par le passé. Et lorsqu'on recrute, il faut avoir des mesures de performance des employés. Et surtout, pensez à récompenser la performance. Quand des gens sont performants, vous devez penser à les récompenser. Et ils partagent aussi quelques nourritures pour la pensée ou bien pour l'esprit. Il dit performance is very strategic. La performance est vraiment stratégique pour le succès des affaires, pour le succès de votre entreprise. Il dit en tant qu'entrepreneur et leader, il a découvert que la performance est quelque chose d'essentiel pour le succès. Et il dit en tant qu'entrepreneur et leader, il a commencé sa vision et avec la stratégie, il a exécuté sa vision en mettant autour de lui tous les peuples qui permettaient, quand il dit le personnel qui permettait de pouvoir atteindre ses objectifs. Il dit la vision, c'est de la stratégie. Et on doit recruter du personnel en fonction des critères de performance. Il dit si vous ratez la récompense du personnel, vous êtes sûr que l'entreprise ne va pas mettre long. L'entreprise ne sera pas durable. Et c'est comme une chaîne. S'il y a un moment dans la chaîne qui est défaillant, c'est tout un problème pour l'entreprise. OK, please, next slide. OK, over to you, Angela. Your mic is mute, Angela.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Foko. So, Ibuku or Adora, do you have comments for us? Do you have questions, perspectives, examples for us? Thank you.
Okay, yes, I have a few comments and I'll share those comments now. Okay, so rewarding performance actually motivates staff to work their best in any activity entailed in business. And this is from Adrian. Adacheta says, it is important to have a reward mechanism for my business, to have my team motivated to want to deliver. Then there's one here from Dan Kayeye. Hiring the right team can lead the company to succeed. But if you hire the wrong people, the company will have 80% failure. And there's another one here from Jordan Alex from Cameroon. I don't really get the quote talking about, okay, no, I think this is a question. This person is sending a question. We have learned that ideas can come from all kinds of places, so we always need to pay attention. Then there's another one here from Awuno Mavina. Incentives have always worked for me. It moves those who work for me to give in their best. So this is something she does for our business. She's always coming up with things to encourage our staff so they can come up and give their best to the work. So there's another comment here from Ebeku Sotum. In the course of running my business, I have ensured to interact with my staff with rewards to how to improve our services, and their contributions have really helped the business to grow. There's another one here, Obianuju. I run a buying and selling enterprise. I realize that my employees do better when they know there is a small percentage attached to each successful sale. This has increased our sales return. Then the last one from Arabella Beauty Concept. With the knowledge of human capital, it is clear that it is your employees that help build the organization. So this should be based on performance, skills, competence, and not familiarity. So that's all we have. And more comments are still coming in. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Those are very useful feedback. Thank you. Foko, do you have any for us?
Okay, I begin by translating a bit what said Adaora. Donc, Adaora a essayé de partager les commentaires, quelques commentaires. Il y en a par exemple qui disent que la récompense motive. C'est une expérience qu'ils sont en train de vivre dans leur entreprise. Ils signalent que mal recruter, c'est un peu comme faire 80% d'échecs. Et la cause de 80% des échecs, parce qu'on recrute mal. Donc, voilà les deux choses que j'ai pu retenir. Maintenant, il y a Oussou Patrice Lokonon qui dit « Je tiens à dire un sincère merci à la Fondation Tony pour ce programme. Merci également à ses collaborateurs précieux pour leur sacrifice pour l'Afrique, que Dieu vous récompense énormément. » Donc, je vais aussi traduire ça en anglais. Il y a Sylvestre Koné qui dit « Il faut tenir compte de l'avis des clients, aux potentiels clients, vu que ce sont eux qui achèteront les produits ou utiliseront les services mis à leur disposition. » Okay, I just have just 2 comments from Osu, who is just thanking Tony and all the foundation and all of us. And the other people, the other person is Sylvester Kone, who is saying that taking in account what client think is a good thing for a company. Okay, over to you.
Thank you very much, Foko. Thank you. Thank you. So let's move on to the next batch of business values, institutionalization, and governance. And let's hear what Thierry has to say about that. Thierry says, you need the operating software that will make the system work in a certain manner. Looking back, I find that there's a certain work ethic. If you recall this quote from the background of the Thierry way when I did the introduction, he says, looking back, I find that there's a certain work ethic, a certain way that I do business, which has contributed to my achievements. I would like these business values institutionalized for posterity. You know, and then he goes on to say, you must institutionalize, build to last, have a mindset of, I'm in this business forever. I want this business to be intergenerational. Put structures in place to institutionalize. Businesses hardly go beyond a generation in Africa. This is not good. We need to think legacy, think sustainability, think how to institutionalize. If we think like this, we will build to last. It says 100 years from now, I want this institution to be one that has achieved great success because it was built to last. And, you know, he goes on to say to build to last, you must have strong corporate governance. And that without strong corporate governance, you cannot build to last. Governance is key to succession planning. So let's even think about that. So you guys have all started, you know, what have you put in place to what governance systems have you put in place in your various businesses?
So we're waiting for comments to come in. So we can see people are typing. So we're just waiting for them to share their comments so we can share with you.
Let Foko do the translation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Foko, over to you.
Non, OK. Pour ce point sur l'institutionnalisation et la gouvernance, Tony essaie de partager avec nous encore quelques citations. Il dit, you need to operate software what will make the system. Donc, en fait, qu'il faut avoir un système qui permet de gérer l'entreprise. Ça, c'est une chose que Tony recommande. Il dit, looking back, I found that a certain work ethic. Donc, il dit, quand il regarde dans le passé, il voit qu'il y avait toujours l'éthique qu'il essayait d'appliquer au sein de, ou bien qu'il essaye d'appliquer au sein de son entreprise et ça contribue à avoir de très bonnes réalisations pour l'entreprise. C'est aussi une valeur d'affaires qui permet d'institutionnaliser la prospérité au sein de l'entreprise. You must institutionalize to last, have a mindset. Vous devez institutionnaliser. Institutionnaliser veut dire que vous devez permettre que les choses se répètent, que les bons gestes, les bons comportements deviennent normaux. C'est ça qu'on appelle institutionnaliser. Il dit vous devez construire cela au sein de l'entreprise, au point où les gens aient une autre façon de penser, une façon de penser qui permet à l'entreprise de s'améliorer. Donc, concernant la gouvernance, Tony dit il faut bâtir la gouvernance. Build to last, you must have strong, vous devez avoir une forte gouvernance d'entreprise. Sans une forte gouvernance d'entreprise, vous ne pouvez pas vraiment conduire l'entreprise à la réussite. La gouvernance d'entreprise, ce sont un peu les acteurs qui sont au-dessus, le top, non pas le top management. C'est ceux qui administrent l'entreprise, qui contrôlent ce que la direction générale fait. C'est ça un peu la gouvernance de l'entreprise. Et il dit, la governance is key to succession planning. Donc, la gouvernance est la clé d'un planning successif. C'est-à-dire que c'est la gouvernance qui permet de pérenniser une entreprise à travers un œil critique sur toute la planification de l'entreprise. OK, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Foko. So, Ibuko, do we have any feedback? You know, I asked the question, what governance systems are they putting in place in their various organizations? Recognizing, of course, that they are new businesses. So what have they put in place?
Okay, so I have some comments here. So they're not really relating it to their own exam, like their business. They're not relating it to their business. They're just sharing general comments. But I'm just going to read a few. So Ndako is saying that my plan is to have a solid structure in accordance with good governance and give back to the society. Success, Isaac says, institutionalization is key. I call it the auto run in the sense that you have trained and imbibed values to trusted individuals to run and manage your business, even when you're not there. And he's saying that this is basically what he's about to do, is putting structures in place for his new business, just to ensure that even when he's not there, he would trust them enough to know that they would manage it very well. Silas,
pause a minute.
Okay.
So can you ask a follow-up question I have is what are those structures you're putting in place? What are those structures?
So success, if you can hear us, success, Isaac, please kindly put in the comment section. Can we know what structures you're putting in place for your business, just to ensure that your team is able to manage effectively when you're not there? So we'll be waiting for your comment, success. There's another comment here from Silas on Moha. My governance system, I have decided to embrace any technological trends that would promote my business beyond my locality in terms of branding, product quality, etc. So that's from Silas. Good luck in Chembele says, I have a board of directors that help me, but I miss the use of software to simplify the operations of my business. So he basically has a board that would, advise and support, but it also needs to get the needed software to simplify his business operations. Then there's another comment here from Nana. I currently have an SOP for every aspect of my business, which is standard operating system, from client reception to operations to feedback to response, so that there's consistency. My staff come and go, but the business remains the same. So she already has a structure, an SOP that everybody needs to comply with once they start working in that company. Then Aji, which is the final comment, says, okay, so it's just, this is just another comment from the last session. So that's all we have. Once Isaac sends his reply, I will share with you. Thank you, ma'am.
That's success, right? Once success sends his reply.
Isaac, yes, success, okay. Isaac.
Okay, thanks a lot. So Foko, do you have any comments you want? Very good feedback, by the way. Ibukun, thanks.
Okay.
Foko.
Donc, Ibukun vient de partager des expériences des personnes qui disent que rendre institutionnel est la clé et rend automatique le fonctionnement de l'entreprise. Ce qui fait que même quand vous êtes absent, les choses se passent telles que vous les avez prévues dans le respect des procédures. Il y a un autre qui partage son expérience en disant qu'il se fait assister qu'il a un conseil d'administration et ce conseil d'administration l'aide assez bien dans l'accomplissement de la vision de son entreprise. Donc, une autre personne parle du fait que le système mis en place, le logiciel mis en place pour la gestion de l'entreprise est aussi quelque chose qui facilite l'institutionnalisation.
Any feedback from any of the French participants? Do they have any feedback?
Foko, if you have any questions from from the French participants here, just share with me in English so I can share with Angela, and then you can translate the response back to them in French. So
let's move on. When we have any, because we're still on the institutionalization and governance, maybe by the time we finish it, the feedback that I'd asked from Success would have come through, and maybe the French participants as well would have come up.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so moving on, let's look at an example of good corporate governance. So when Hess Holdings made a strategic investment in Transcorp in 2011, Transcorp had not produced annual accounts for years. They had unreconciled shares, they had 99 court cases, they never paid a dividend. And so what did Hess Holdings do? Hess Holdings organized, like a seminar, like a training on governance, and, did this for the board and executive management of Transcorp PLC and all its subsidiaries. Hess Holdings, they invited the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Nigerian Stock Exchange to also come and give their perspective as to what the weaknesses they had observed in Transcorp PLC and what they were looking to see in terms of good corporate governance. Corporate governance charters were developed, and it was very clear from the board, that there was zero tolerance for non-compliance. Leadership, the leadership from the top set the tone. Okay, annual reports were then produced and AGMs were held. The first dividend ever was paid in 2014. And in 2014, the Nigerian Stock Exchange awarded Transcorp the most compliant company on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. This is a company that, previously had not had annual general meetings, had no annual reports, and never paid a dividend, had court cases, turned around, under TOE's leadership as a chairman and after the acquisition of Hess Holdings. So this is something that is a classic example of good corporate governance and building to last. So just to say to everyone, we need to build to last. So well done to the gentleman who said he has a board of directors and is looking for this, putting a software in place for him to make his work easy, so well done to you. And, so we all have to build to last so that the organization can run without us. So maybe we have comments now from everyone, from Foko and from Isaac.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Donc, nous allons prendre déjà un exemple sur la gouvernance.
Sorry, just a minute, Foko. Sorry, just a minute. Just one more slide. Sorry, and a food for thought from Tio. He says, if you have the best policies and you don't have the right CEO, so all of you guys, you're all the CEOs. So just imagine you have the right policies, you put your board. Remember that the CEO is the chief custodian of your corporate governance. So he's the chief custodian of your policies. He's the chief custodian of your corporate governance framework. And if he doesn't enforce it, then it will not work. If you, as CEOs of the businesses that you run, don't enforce the good corporate governance that you have been entrusted with, it won't work. Policy is necessary, but it's not a sufficient condition. You must have a good CEO who's the chief custodian. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, Foucault.
OK, thank you. Donc, j'étais en train de partager sur le... On faisait un exemple sur Transcorp. Donc, Tony nous dit qu'en 2011, quand son groupe Here Holding a intégré stratégiquement la société Transcorp, il y avait certains faits remarquables, comme par exemple le fait que Transcorp n'avait jamais produit des états financiers. Deuxième chose, il dit il y avait les actions, on ne se retrouvait pas vraiment dans le compte des actions. Il avait aussi 99 procès en justice et la société n'avait jamais payé de dividendes. Donc, on vous explique ça pour que vous compreniez bien quels sont les challenges auxquels peut faire face une entreprise lorsque vous la mettez en place. Donc, on a dit, pas de compte annuel, donc il n'y avait pas une comptabilité traçable. Les comptes, les actionnaires, on ne se retrouvait même pas. Il avait 99 procès et jamais la société Transcorp n'avait distribué les dividendes. Alors, qu'est-ce que Tony, lui, il a fait? Tony a d'abord essayé de créer un système interne de veille sur la gouvernance interne de l'entreprise. Après, il a mis en place une charte de bonne gouvernance de l'entreprise. Une charte de bonne gouvernance de l'entreprise. Et puis, il a commencé à institutionnaliser les rapports annuels au point où, en 2014, il a partagé les premiers dividendes. Et toujours en 2014, je crois, la société est rentrée à la bourse du Nigeria, c'est-à-dire Stock Exchange, est rentrée à la bourse du Nigeria. Donc, voilà quelques faits qui montrent que le démarrage d'une entreprise n'est pas toujours évident, mais la gouvernance a sa place. Donc, il partage une autre parole en disant, pour construire, vous devez faire une entreprise en la construisant pour qu'elle dure. Build to last, vous devez construire l'entreprise pour qu'elle soit durable. Et pour ça, il partage une petite citation, c'est que si vous avez de bonnes politiques d'entreprise et que vous n'avez pas le bon directeur général, il y aura toujours problème. Et pour finir, il dit, la politique est bonne, c'est-à-dire c'est bien d'organiser l'entreprise, mais ce n'est pas suffisant. C'est une condition nécessaire de bien organiser l'entreprise, mais cette condition n'est pas suffisante. Comme quoi, vous devez mettre ensemble un ensemble de choses pour réussir. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you, Foucault. So, do we have the feedback I was waiting for now, Ibukun? Or
no, Isaac hasn't shared, but I have a few comments from some other people here.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Blessing.
And maybe another follow-up question would be, what are the elements of corporate governance? What are the corporate governance frameworks or systems that you're putting in place in your organization to ensure that it's building to last? So, for instance, I forgot the gentleman's name who says he's put a board of directors in place. So what other things are you putting in place to make sure your business is built to last?
Business. Okay, all right. So,
please, beaucoup. Angèle demande de mettre dans le chat box, de partager quelles sont les politiques de bonne gouvernance ou bien de gouvernance d'entreprise que vous avez mis au sein de vos entreprises. Partagez-nous vos exemples et puis on va les lire. Qu'est-ce que vous avez mis en place pour vous rassurer que votre entreprise va mettre long? Over to you, Ibukun.
Thank you, Foucault. Thank you. So I have a comment here from Newell. Newell is saying, setting up my eatery business, I gave one of my employees a bonus for executing a task in time. His commitment to the vision multiplied significantly. So yes, I agree, rewarding performance leads to success. This is another one from Thomas Wodo. Rewarding performance is a way to motivate employees to give the best performance. out of them by compensating them according to their performance. It is key for business success. Then there's another one here from Emmanuel. Human capital development is really important. As a team leader, you can make your team a productive one by training, motivating, and rewarding them accordingly to ensure business success. Then I have one here from Kenile Janite. One thing that prompted me to start my business was to have an interest in business. One thing that prompted me to have an interest in business is building a legacy that would outlive my children. So this is what she intends to do for her business. Then Unfomba Undubisi says, I institute governance based on performance of the employees. So this is his own way of structuring the business, putting together governance structures based on the performance of the employees. Then there's Enema. I have set up structures where an individual is responsible for leading a small team. The team leads share performances for evaluation with the management board. So this is his own way of structuring the business. We need to institutionalize our businesses by making it a working system with standard working norms and ethics, and a working government that checks and runs the affairs of the company. That's from Ayuba. And then I have another one from Indako. Okay, so I think okay, so let me scroll down. I'm seeing more comments. Okay, so this is from Sultan. A good and effective governance enables me run the organization smoothly, and thus successfully planning and ensures that the business would last. That's from my Sultan. Then Mary says, as a startup business, institutionalization is key in the sense that it helps the business to be focused and carries out its business to its full potential. Lawal Buka says, I will make sure that my board of trustees includes special business advisors, financial planners, critical thinkers to ensure business sustainability. So that's his own plan for structuring his business. My plan is to set a legacy. This is from Dora. My plan is to set a legacy on ascertaining that the standard is maintained and I embrace new ideas. To build to last, it requires strong business structure, which are product, process, and people. So this is Dora's legacy plan. Principal Peter says, when effective internal control is in place, good work ethics and risk management are critical to good corporate governance. That's from Principal Peter. Nasiru says, my own understanding of building to last is sustainability, and that should be at the back of any entrepreneur's mind. Olojede Shegun says, I train my workers on how the system works so that they would know where to work when there's an issue, if there's anything faulty. That's from Shegun. And then God's Time says, good governance, of course, is key to sustaining a business, thereby ensuring a strategic organizational structure that helps my business grow. Mukhtar Mohammed, with the right leadership quality and mindset, business will strive well because there is no room for excuses or misplacement of priorities. Amaka Immaculate says, I'm working on making my organization flexible, efficient, innovative, caring, and focused in order to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage, which will help us to build to last. So that's our structure. That's the structure she's putting in place. God's Will in Zerem says, transparency and accountability is very paramount for my business. I will ensure that my company maintains good financial record. This I will demonstrate through effective leadership by example. And then the last, Bruno Injeba says, ensuring that there are SOPs, the team understands my vision and mission, so they develop the excellence culture as required to achieve success. So those are the comments so far. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. These are all very, 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 very good comments and demonstrate understanding of corporate governance and how you guys are applying it to your businesses. I'm sure you guys will all succeed, you know, the way you're all going. So well done to the team. Foko, do you have anything for us, or should I move on to the next?
Yes, I have some comments. Donc, nous avons Blessing Tunde qui dit l'expérience de Tony nous pousse à voir les affaires différemment. Blessing Tunde is saying that Tony's experience make people see business in another way. Donc, Kadek Mountain dit comment détecter celui qui peut changer positivement les cours de notre entreprise. How to detect someone who can make our enterprise to change positively. Donc, nous avons aussi Toten Alexandre qui dit la motivation des agents les amène vraiment à doubler d'ardeur dans l'exécution des activités. Agent motivation make them work very hard in order to execute all the activities. Zenabou Fade dit une politique de rentabilité basée sur le rendement des travailleurs. Donc, nous avons aussi Cyril Degla qui dit il est important d'avoir une charte de bonne gouvernance. C'est en quelque sorte un code de conduite, aussi assuré d'avoir un leader à la tête de l'entreprise. Okay, it is important to have a charter, a governance charter, and also a good code of conduct. It ensures aussi assurer, okay, it also makes the leader to be ensured that he is a good leader or a good head for the company. We also have ingénieur de lui. Le manque d'accompagnement d'un CEO ou d'un professionnel coach d'entreprise fait parfois chuter les affaires d'une entreprise. Même si les produits sont bons, il faut accepter la formation permanente. Edeto Luis is saying that lacking of a good coach or a good CEO can make the enterprise to fall and to bankrupt. He saying that it is important to make people to have permanent training in their company. Lastly, we have Karim Diawa qui dit pour faire vivre l'entreprise de manière pérenne, nous avons mis sur pied des manuels de procédure, un code d'éthique et un cabinet conseil pour nous aider à suivre nos finances. Okay, to help Karim Diawa to manage his enterprise, she has put in place a manual, procedural manual, ethic code, and recruit an advisor in order to help them follow their finance. Thank you. Over to you.
This is just so excellent feedback that one is getting, and the examples and the perspectives you guys are bringing and how you're applying and putting corporate governance frameworks in place. I just want to end this session, this section of the webinar by saying, as you grow as a business, you will need to scale up your corporate governance. Ensure that your corporate governance, you know, as you're building to last, ensure that your corporate governance is the right size for your scale of business, you know, because you don't want to put huge systems in place when, you know, you're just a startup with maybe 5 people. So, you know, you ensure that your corporate governance framework and systems are appropriate to your stage of development and to the size of your business. So I just want to end this section on that note before we go on to the next. Foko, do you want to summarize that, please? Thank you.
I was not aware of what you were saying. I didn't understand what you said, please.
Okay, let me say it again. So what I said is that as they develop their corporate governance frameworks, as they put corporate governance frameworks to ensure that they're built to last, they should ensure that the systems they're putting in place are appropriate in terms of the stage of development and also the size of the business. So you don't want to put elaborate systems in place when, for instance, maybe you're only 5 people. So you have to ensure that you're putting the appropriate governance framework in place. Is that clear now?
OK, good. Donc, Angèle nous rappelle ceci pour clore avec cette partie. Elle dit, lorsqu'on est en train de mettre en place tout le système de gouvernance et tout ce qu'il faut pour que l'entreprise puisse être durable, il est important de tenir compte, de dimensionner ce système afin qu'il puisse tenir compte de la taille de votre entreprise, de la taille de vos ambitions et aussi des différentes étapes que vous devez suivre. Donc, il est important, elle insiste dessus, d'avoir un système approprié à votre vision, en quelque sorte le dimensionnement de ce que vous faites lorsque vous mettez en place la gouvernance de votre entreprise. Thank you.
Thank you, Foucault. So moving on, the next batch of business values we're going to be looking at is hard work leads to productivity, having a sense of urgency, meeting deadlines, having a can-do spirit, decisiveness, effective meetings, getting things done, being results-driven, and execution. So all these business values have to do with execution and getting things done. So let's look at what Thierry has to say about that. And basically, on hard work leads to productivity, Thierry says, discipline, hard work, sacrifice are what make a successful entrepreneur. Success does not come on a platter. You have to work hard to be successful. You have to be disciplined, and you have to make sacrifices. I work very hard and demand no less from people that work with me. If you recall, I don't know how many of you listened to Thierry last week at Stanford. He was talking about how he learned entrepreneurship essentially from his mother. And he talked about how he learned hard work, discipline, and being tenacious and resilient from her. That she was, even though she was a small scale entrepreneur, he learned hard work from her. So hard work is so important. And what he is saying, he says, he works very hard. And therefore, he demands no less from people who work with him, and it's hard work that leads to productivity, not just, going through the motions, but hard work that leads to productivity. So this is very important. It's one of the keys to Thierry's success. I don't know how many of you have read the book Outliers. How many of you have read the book Outliers? Has anyone read the book Outliers? And does anyone want to share what you recall from that book if you read it recently? Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers. Foucault, maybe while we're waiting, you can interpret.
OK, thank you. Donc, dans cette partie, elle posait la question, qui de vous a lu le livre qui est affiché? Outlier, The True Story of Success. Donc, si l'un de vous a lu ce livre-là et qu'il partage son expérience dans le groupe, et puis on va lire. Donc, tout à l'heure, elle parlait de la discipline et du travail dur, donc hard work. Savoir travailler durement, savoir être très discipliné, savoir être focus, oui, savoir être focus, savoir être, comment dirais-je? Donc, il prend l'exemple de the idea that excellent, non, c'est pas ça, permettez que je... OK, il dit la discipline, le travail dur, le sacrifice sont des choses qui font qu'un entrepreneur puisse réussir. Et il dit le succès ne se sert pas sur un plateau. Non, c'est faux. Le succès est le fruit du travail. Vous devez travailler durement. Vous devez travailler durement pour réussir. You have to be disciplined. Vous devez être discipliné et avoir le sens du sacrifice. Maintenant, pour ce qui est des idées d'excellence, the idea that excellence, donc l'idée qui rend excellent la performance est complexe et le travail demande.
Foko, I haven't talked about this yet. I haven't talked about this page yet.
Okay, then you can have the floor.
No, I asked them if they had read the book Outliers.
Me too. I asked them to share. Let us share the chat box then. Ibukun can share if she has an answer.
Okay. So Foko is just, so she asked the question. We just want them to respond if they've read the book, and then we'll give feedback.
Ok, qui de vous a lu ce livre? On attend votre réponse dans les commentaires.
Okay, so Brian says, I read Outliers. He spoke about 10,000 hours rule. You have to put 10,000 hours to be good at something. So Brian has actually read the book. Amiso Multimedia says, I read the book as well. The 1,000 rule means we need to practice and practice until we succeed. Then there's Emmanuel, the Work Organization. The book talks about how people learn skills and become professionals in their given field by constant practice. It also shares that being a genius doesn't guarantee success. So those are the comments we've gotten so far. Okay, then Abolaji says, the book makes me understand that there is nothing impossible, that we make our own future by our actions. So that's all we've gotten so far. Thank you. Hello, Ma, you're muted. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ibukun. Sorry about that. So Ibukun, thank you for that feedback. So one of the things that I got out of that book, which is so relevant to the TOE way about hard work leading to productivity, it says that the magic number for true expertise is in 10,000 hours. So you achieve mastery. 10,000 hours of practice is required to achieve the level of mastery associated with being a world-class expert in anything. And the book talks about the Beatles, it talks about Bill Gates, it gives all sorts of examples of people who had achieved mastery from 10,000 hours of practice. So hard work leads to mastery, hard work leads to productivity, and we should all emulate that. So hard work, so in summary, hard work, the 10,000 hour rule, the magic number for true expertise and mastery. And even the good book says, seest thou a man diligent in his work, he will stand before kings. I don't know how many presidents TOE has met. He lives out this scripture. He works so hard and he's met so many presidents. It's unbelievable. I think Ibukun remind me at the last convening of the TF entrepreneurs in Abuja before COVID. Yeah. I think there were like 5 presidents there.
We had 6 presidents, 6.
6 presidents.
Yeah,
I mean,
6.
One gathering. And, that was just so amazing. So, if COVID hadn't happened, I wondered how many presidents would have been at the next one. So he lives out this scripture. So going on, having a sense of urgency, so let's work as if our life depends on it, so till he works very hard, and what is it to work hard, have a sense of urgency, you get things done more quickly. Apparently, and this is what the literature says, people who have a sense of urgency tend to excel and accomplish more than others, obviously. And it's one of the best ways to meet deadlines, just constantly having a sense of urgency. And high achievers and leaders tend to have more of a sense of urgency than most people. So again, this is a TOE way and something that we should emulate. Having a can-do spirit, you know, not saying no, it can't be done, you know, having a positive outlook. You know, nothing is impossible, or like they say, impossible is nothing, you know, having a willingness to, you know, so you don't hit a roadblock, you don't hit a wall and then retreat, you know, have a can-do spirit. The GMD of UBA, he's called Can Do. His name is Kennedy Uzoka, and it's called Can Do because of that can-do spirit. So having a can-do spirit is important to execution. It's a key TOE way. Decisiveness. Remember, all these business values are going to help you execute more. They're going to help you execute more effectively, help you get things done quickly, and, you know, help you achieve your business aspirations. Decisiveness is a key TOE way. He says, leaders must be decisive. Posterity can forgive you for making a wrong decision, but posterity will not forgive you for making no decision. So you must make a decision, right or wrong, you know, and, you know, at least you made a decision, you didn't sit on the fence. Everyone deserves a response, and on a timely basis. Leaders should give an answer of yes or no within 24 hours. So it's all about, you know, having a sense of urgency. Say, you know, give your subordinates, give your staff a response, yes or no, but give them a response within 24 hours. That is a TOE way. And, you know, let me just go on, because I think this is, and then let's go on to meetings. Meetings. I'd like to ask a question. How has COVID impacted how you meet? Obviously, we're all meeting virtually, but I'd like to hear from everyone before we go into, you know, into this business value of meetings, how meetings have impacted your world.
Okay, Foko, please translate while we wait for comments to come in. Thank you.
Ok, thank you, Ibukun. Donc, nous sommes en train d'échanger toujours sur certaines valeurs que Tony a partagées. On commence par le livre de True Story of Success, dans la vraie histoire du succès. Donc, en fait, dans ce livre que Tony nous encourage à lire, il est juste indiqué que 10 000 heures est une référence. Donc, une étude a démontré que lorsque vous travaillez sur une thématique pendant 10 000 heures, vous devenez un expert sur ce sujet-là. Donc, c'est pour ça qu'on dit la magie du nombre d'heures d'expertise, qui est de 10 000 heures. C'est à la page 61 qu'on explique bien cet aspect-là. Donc, Tony encourage donc les gens de travailler très durement. Vous devez être des travailleurs. C'est ce qu'il dit. Et avoir la règle de 100 000 heures de travail. Et Angèle nous prend l'exemple de Tony, qui est toujours en train de voyager et qui rencontre plein de présidents. Par exemple, pendant le forum 2019, il y avait pratiquement 5 chefs d'État et plusieurs chefs de gouvernement. Donc, c'est pour une façon de dire que Tony passe son temps. Il est très diligent dans ce qu'il fait. Le sens de l'urgence et du respect des délais. Donc, vous devez comprendre qu'il y a des choses qui doivent se faire tout de suite. Vous ne devez pas patienter. Comme on dit souvent, l'opportunité n'attend pas. Quand vous avez une chose à faire, soyez déterminé et faites-la tout de suite. Ça ne sert à rien de procrastiner. Faites ce qu'il vous faites tout de suite. Vous devez donc savoir travailler de façon urgente sur les choses qui sont signifiantes, les choses qui apportent un bénéfice et les choses considérables, surtout celles aussi qui ont des effets directs. Donc, ça, c'est le sens de l'urgence. Quand on est un entrepreneur, on doit savoir distinguer ce qui doit être fait tout de suite. Donc, on partage aussi le « je peux le faire ». Un entrepreneur ne dit jamais non. Il doit toujours avoir confiance à ses ressources. Il doit toujours avoir le sens de dire oui, je peux. Même quand il n'a pas de ressources, il doit faire confiance au peu de ressources qu'il a et savoir être déterminé pour atteindre ses objectifs. Donc, il dit une personne positive, c'est quelqu'un qui dit toujours oui et qui réussit à faire ce qu'on lui a demandé de faire. Donc, ça, c'est pour ce qui est de je peux le faire. Maintenant, le sens décisif. Il dit un leader doit être quelqu'un de décisif, quelqu'un qui passe à l'action et qui doit toujours savoir dire oui ou non quand c'est nécessaire et dans les 24 heures. On n'a vraiment pas de temps à perdre. Un leader, c'est quelqu'un qui répond aux questions qu'on lui pose et de façon prompte. Quand quelqu'un vous sollicite, afin que cela puisse l'aider. Donc, avant, et pour finir, avant de continuer, maintenant, c'est des réunions efficaces. Vous devez savoir faire des réunions efficaces. Et Angèle nous demande de partager notre expérience sur les réunions qui ont été faites pendant la COVID. Parce que vous savez, aujourd'hui, les réunions... Dans les réunions...
Are you done? Okay, so...
Still talking.
I can't hear.
I think he's finished.
Okay.
So if you can just give us some feedback from...
Okay. Yes, I have some feedback. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So in Amsong Etim says COVID has created an easy adoption pain online in my business. I think is adopted online payment for his business. So that's one innovation that came about from the COVID year. And then Chisalam says, Chisalem, meetings have helped me get decisions across to workers and exchanging ideas, virtual meetings. Lesson Ikang says, organizing meetings have become easier and less cumbersome due to the shift to virtual meetings or virtual gatherings. Chibu Zobiodun says, most meetings are done virtually now. Iro Ama says, impact of COVID-19 on meetings. Companies today have leveraged on digital lifestyle, hosting virtual meetings. Faith Anzaki says, COVID has turned some industries to run full-time remote offices. I worked in a place where we met online, worked online, and related online. Jacob Joseph says, meeting virtually helps a lot in running my business, despite COVID-19 pandemic that ravaged the world. So I think he didn't really lose a lot of money due to the shift in running his business virtually. During COVID-19, I was able to meet with learners virtually through Zoom, WhatsApp, and Facebook. It was both synchronous and it was a synchronous meeting. Okay. Solel says, COVID gave me a chance through virtual platforms to enter rooms and meetings that I would normally not be able to attend. So it also paved way for him. Virtual meetings sort of paved way for his business. Omorere says, the business I'm currently working on is the result of a virtual meeting I attended during the lockdown, but repeated practice has made me an expert in this field. Benedicta says, meetings have been an important role of my business as I have to meet my buyers to talk with them and see how I can improve on my productivity. And each time it's a great opportunity. Tekiso says, with regards to meetings virtually, it has helped me bridge the gap with people I engage with in different locations. However, this takes away the human element of conducting business, making it difficult. God's will says, COVID-19 pandemic brought the new norm, the no limit order into reality. I don't need to know my clients facially because doing big business before doing big business deals with them, I can close deals from anywhere. Jaffet Jackson says, the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic has worsened the plight of, okay, I think this is giving us feedback from the impact of COVID-19. Patrick Ahmed says the emergence of COVID organization has saved over 24.5% of operational costs because a meeting can be conducted physically. A meeting that can be conducted physically can hold virtually from the comfort of your home. And this leads to cost savings. So those are the comments we've received so far. Thank you.
Great. I don't know if Foko has any feedback, but I think this is excellent feedback that you guys are giving.
Yes, I have a few feedback.
Okay,
Donc,
go ahead.
Oui, nous avons Dieudonné Gounon qui dit concernant l'impact du Covid, nous avons les réseaux sociaux qui nous permettent de faire les publicités. Il faut se recourir aux ressources. Donc, Dieudonné Gounon is saying that due to COVID, people are using more than ever social network. Okay, we also have Anneli Regina. Les réunions sont importantes pour communiquer et transmettre avec précision ce qui devrait être fait. C'est donner aussi à l'autre l'occasion de poser des questions sur ce qu'il n'a pas compris. Okay, she is saying that, Regina is saying that meetings are important for people to share what they have to say and also give the occasion to make others understand what they have not understand before. Donc, nous avons lui, lui qui dit apparemment le virus Covid a suscité l'évolution de ma création d'un matériel de lavage automatique des mains, une installation informatisée. J'ai fait de grosses affaires jusqu'à l'heure. Okay, Luis is saying that COVID-19 made him invent a material to wash hands and that he has earned a lot of money till today due to that invention. Donc, nous avons aussi Gaël Oueto qui dit les réunions sont pour la plupart organisées en fonction de l'importance de l'ordre du jour. Ça peut être en présentiel ou en ligne via Zoom pour permettre à tout le personnel d'y participer. Meetings are most of the time organized in accordance with the order, the agenda. And it can be online or physically, a physical meeting like this one on Zoom. Okay, lastly, we have Modeste Dotonke. Les réunions durant COVID-19, c'est intéressant car c'est en ligne, c'est une innovation, sauf qu'il manque l'aspect expressif des visages durant les réunions. Yes, Modeste is saying that meeting during COVID-19 are interesting online, but the lack of faces expression is something important to consider. Thank you.
Interesting. So, but clearly, we all recognize that COVID pandemic has helped us appreciate the importance of meetings. You know, our meetings, we couldn't have done business without meeting virtually throughout COVID. And so, you know, this re-emphasizes the importance of meetings, which is a key business value of TOE. TOE, and then going on to the quote from TOE, it is, or from the book, Insights on Tony Elumelu, The Power of Vision. It is impossible to work directly with TOE without meetings. Meetings are the platform through which his management by consensus style plays out. It is also through meetings that he energizes the organization. So remember, we talked about management by consensus on Tuesday. We talked about syndicating views and management by consensus being a key TOE way. Well, he leverages the meeting platform to do so, along with other platforms, e.g. communicating by email, etc. But meetings are really a platform for, remember we talked about the debate that went on between FlexCube and Finacle? That happened at a meeting. So meetings are so important in terms of the TOE way and achieving his business aspirations, and you should all do the same. So meetings, afford us a way to get things done. Why do we meet? To share information. Some of you have already said that, to get acceptance of ideas, to solve problems, to plan projects. This is what the literature says. To review performance, to make decisions, to align interests, as in the Flex Cube and Finacle example. But we must recognize that meetings are only as effective as a leader. This is what the literature says. As a skilled meeting leader, you can get more done in less time, increase teamwork, and demonstrate your ability to get results. Empathy, you need to demonstrate. The literature goes on to say, the leadership that gets results is, you need to be able to demonstrate empathy, have emotional intelligence at the meeting. There are different leadership styles, and you have to recognize which one you will leverage. This is what the literature says, which one you will leverage at the meeting that you're having. Coercive style, authoritative, affiliative, democratic, pace setting, coaching, it all depends. Leadership is situational, so you have to recognize which leadership tool, your style you're going to adopt for the particular meeting. Obviously, if you're in a crisis, you're not going to start going into a democratic approach. You're going to be more authoritative because you need to deal with a situation. So you're going to be more authoritative. So it's situational, okay? And just to know, I think the key thing is to have an agenda, make sure you set ground rules, bring the right people into the meeting, ensure that you have clear objectives, etc. That, like I said, there are different styles for leadership. So TOE style is consensus. Make every meeting matter. Remember I said earlier that meetings are the platform through which TOE's management by consensus style plays out and through which he energizes the organization. Also, TOE uses meetings as a learning platform. So you'll find that when he has a meeting, he will leverage the meeting to share knowledge, and to learn himself. He's constantly learning, he's constantly writing notes, and we should all do the same. So I think we've gone over that. Always end your meeting, this is what the literature says, end your meeting with an action plan. Who does what when? You shouldn't leave a meeting not knowing, otherwise you've just had a meeting with no objective. Make sure you know who does what when, set deadlines, and let there be a follow-up at the end of the day. And then rounding up with execution. Execution is all about getting things done. We all want to get things done. And you need to think and do, decide and act, plan and produce, So it's strategy, implementation, and execution. Set clear priorities. This is what the literature says. Collect and analyze data. Monitor your key performance indicators. Keep a rhythm to meetings. Again, meetings is brought up in the literature. And evaluate your strategy. Okay. So that is it on, food for thought. Let's end with some food for thought from TOE. Action on execution and all these hard work leads to productivity, meetings, all the things we've talked about today, having a can-do spirit, getting things done, all what does he have to say? He's saying, action at the speed of thought. Execution is the art of getting things done. Execution is about discipline. He says, focus on outcomes. Focus on outcomes. So it's all about a bit of planning in the form of these questions are some tips on execution. So these are some questions he advises we ask. He says, first, you need to ask yourself, what am I supposed to do? Then, is there clarity? Then do I understand what I'm supposed to do? Then what resources do I need to do it? And then in what time frame am I required to get this done? Thierry says, I don't reward effort. I reward accomplishment. I reward people who accomplish results, and I believe that people must work hard. It's not either or for me. You have to do both. It's the genius of and. So that's it today on the webinar, and I'd like to take feedback, comments. I know we've made this quite interactive today, which I like. So I'd like to get feedback, questions, etc. Okay, so Foko, first interpret, and then we'll get feedback and questions. Thank you.
OK, thank you, Angela. Donc, nous allons continuer en commençant par les réunions efficaces. Nous commençons par un extrait du livre de Tony, Le pouvoir, la puissance de la vision. Donc, il est dit qu'il est impossible de travailler directement avec Tony si ce n'est à travers les réunions. Donc, les réunions sont des plateformes qui permettent de gérer par le consensus tel qu'on l'a vu l'autre jour, tel qu'on l'a vu mardi. Et Tony travaille à travers les réunions pour donner assez d'énergie à son organisation. Ça, c'est les réunions efficaces. Donc, maintenant, comment faire des réunions et obtenir des résultats? On demande déjà, les réunions sont importantes pour voir les choses être faites. Après la réunion, on passe à l'action. Les réunions permettent de changer les informations. Ça permet d'accepter les idées des autres. Ça permet de résoudre les problèmes. Ça permet de planifier les projets. Ça permet de revoir les performances, d'évaluer les performances, de faire des décisions et de mettre ensemble les différents intérêts et à l'occasion résoudre les conflits d'intérêts s'il y en a, les différents points de vue. Le prochain point, c'est le leadership pour avoir des résultats. On a parlé du leadership situationnel. Dans le leadership, le style de leadership s'adapte à chaque situation. Vous pouvez adopter un style coercitif, un style autocratique, un style, je ne sais pas, démocratique. Bref, il y a plusieurs types de leadership. Le plus important, c'est ce qu'on appelle l'empathie. Vous devez travailler avec des gens en tant que leader et créer la bonne ambiance autour de vous. Faire qu'ils vous aiment et qu'ils aiment ce que vous faites. C'est ça, avoir de l'empathie. Les gens doivent avoir confiance quand ils pensent qu'ils doivent travailler avec vous ou quand ils sont dans la même équipe que vous. Donc maintenant, on va partager quelques éléments de guide pour une réunion efficace. Je ne vais pas tout parcourir, mais on dit une réunion efficace doit avoir un ordre de jour, ça doit avoir une date qui est communiquée à tout le monde, ça doit avoir un délai, un temps de parole pour chaque personne, et la réunion doit être gérée de façon démocratique. Il ne faut pas qu'une personne parle plus que d'autres. Quand on donne les paroles aux gens, il faut tenir compte de ceux qui n'ont pas encore parlé et surtout des minorités. Donc, on a comme ça partagé plusieurs choses sur les outils pour une réunion efficace. On dit aussi qu'il faut savoir prendre des décisions et passer à l'action. Ça peut être par des groupes de consensus, ça peut être par le choix du type de leader et surtout passer par des votes lorsqu'on fait des réunions. D'autres outils pour des réunions efficaces, c'est de toujours avoir des réunions tous les jours si c'est nécessaire, ou bien ne pas faire des réunions si ce n'est pas nécessaire, et savoir que pendant la réunion, on doit définir les objectifs et les buts à atteindre pour chaque réunion. Donc, je crois que je vais m'arrêter là-bas. Comment gérer une réunion? Il faut toujours finir une réunion par un plan d'action. Une réunion doit toujours finir par un plan d'action. Enfin, pour ce qui est de l'exécution, on dit que l'exécution permet bien évidemment de passer à l'action. L'exécution permet de voir les choses être faites. L'exécution, c'est de prendre des décisions sur son activité et de maîtriser la mise en œuvre de toutes les stratégies pour pouvoir aboutir au succès. Donc, voilà un ensemble de choses qu'on devait partager avec vous aujourd'hui. Donc, on vous remercie et bonne continuation dans le programme. Over to you, Ibukun.
Foko, are you done?
Yes, Ibukun.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Foko. Thank you. So I will just share a few comments that we received and questions as well. So this is from Steve Paul, which is a comment. This is a very interesting session, very productive and educational. Thank you, Angela. Temitokpe says, how do you hire right? So this is the question. When you're in a country where people are not willing to work. So I guess she's stuck between hiring the right people and finding people that are not ready to put in their best. So that's the first question. Elizabeth says, loved the session because it was very interactive and insightful. So many gems, especially for my small company as we seek to expand. We know what to keep in mind, implement as we grow. This is from Mopewa Grace. Thank you, Ma. These values from TOE and the individual comments have helped tremendously. I am gaining more knowledge for effectively starting my business. It's not about efforts, but accomplishments. So from Zuwara Dahiru Waziri, meetings, so she's going back to the previous topic. Meetings allow for open conversations that draw upon each member's knowledge, skills, and perspectives to solve problems and to support one another in achieving a collective goal. This is another comment from Uzo. In all, my take home is to reward accomplishments and not efforts, and to be more decisive in my growth benchmarks. So those are all the comments. So should I move to questions, ask more questions?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So there's a question here from Victory. I'm an artist. I intend to tutor younger people on how to use their talents to make income and be impactful. How do I create a system around my business in an attempt to build it to last? So that's a question from Victory. And then the last question from Famous. The reward of performance you talked about, does it apply to the employees or just to customers? Considering I am a startup business and I have not even reached my break even yet. So those are the questions we have. Over to you, Ma. Thank you.
Sorry, Bukun, I missed the last question. What was that?
Okay, so from Famous, the reward of performance you talked about, does it apply to just employees or to customers? Considering I am a startup business and I haven't even reached my break even yet. So this person is still in the idea stage. So is struggling between where to, should I reward customers? Should I reward my employees? Yes, so that's the question. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks so much, Ibukun. And thank you everyone for your feedback. Very, very, very useful feedback. Let me go straight to the questions. I think I have 3 questions. I didn't always capture the names because I was trying to write the questions. So there was a question about how do you hire right when people are not willing to work? My father always used to say, everyone has a good side, find it and stay on it. I can't believe that there's nobody that wants to work. So, there are people that want to work. You probably just have to find them. So you need to motivate them. What is it? Maybe they haven't found that job that is, you're not putting round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes, So it's important to, that there's an organizational fit. And then obviously your leadership style is important to motivate people. Leadership style, rewards, they're all important in terms of, and we've heard all that today, so I don't want to repeat myself. But in terms of, maybe you may want to use a consultant to help you hire. So, obviously I'm sure that there's small business consultants that can help you find the right people that have the right fit with your organization. So that's where I would leave it. So it's an HR issue, getting the right people, but you need to motivate them with rewards, putting them in their right jobs, because some people will just flourish you know, as we heard from Thierry, some people will thrive when you put them in the right job. Then how do succession planning? That was the second question. I think it was from Victory. So no, how do you build to last? And my response is succession planning. And I think you need to build a team. So you need to build your team. You need to train your team. So create more of you, you know. So, you know, let your team know exactly what you know. I mean, obviously, you know, you need to train them. You need to train them. You need to put systems in place. So for instance, you're talking about hiring. So what is your approach to hiring? How do you select? How do you recruit? How do you select? How do you shortlist? What are the interview questions? You know, have you put all this in place so that, God forbid, if you're not well on a particular day and someone needs to handle it, someone can handle it. When you go on leave, have you put systems in place so that somebody can do it, you know, when you're not there? You know, so you need to train. You need to document processes and policies, and you need to, you know, put a succession planning system in place. Then I think the last question was, should we reward staff or should we reward customers? And I'd like to use a Thierry response, genius of and, because I mean, it shouldn't be either or. I'm sure there will be some employees that you can reward, and I'm sure that there are customers that you can reward. Obviously, you have a small budget because you've just started. You know, there are loyalty schemes that you can put in place for your customers. Maybe you give them one free, I don't know what your product is, but, you know, one free product, you know, as you go along. And so I think you should do both. I don't think it's either or. Thank you very much. Foko, any questions from you?
Okay, well, I begin by translating what you just said about the two questions. Donc, Angela vient de partager avec nous sur la question de... Il y a quelqu'un qui a demandé à savoir comment est-ce qu'on peut travailler durement quand on est entouré de paresseux, donc quand on est entouré d'autres personnes qui n'aiment pas travailler. Donc, je pense que globalement, elle conseille de bien recruter pour éviter déjà ce genre de situation. Et souvent, dans le recrutement, elle recommande de passer par des cabinets. Comme celui qui a posé la question est une start-up, donc il a forcément un budget limité, elle recommande de toujours prendre peut-être des petits cabinets pour tout au moins vous assister à votre niveau de développement afin que le recrutement puisse se passer au mieux. Donc, pour ce qui est de la question sur la récompense, notre candidat demande est-ce qu'il faut récompenser les employés ou les clients? Donc, Angela a toujours dit, Tony revient sur ce type de valeur en disant les récompenses des employés permettent de les motiver et la récompense des clients permet aussi qu'eux soient fidèles à l'entreprise. Donc, pour ce qui est des commentaires, j'ai pu noter quelques commentaires que je vais partager là tout de suite. Donc, on a par exemple, permettez que je lise. OK. Donc, nous avons Sigamon Exaucé qui dit merci beaucoup pour cette formation d'aujourd'hui. C'est une formation qui m'a tellement édifié. OK. Odoche is thanking us for this session. OK. We also have Carol. Carol, c'est très important les outils pour les réunions efficaces car il arrive souvent que l'on se réunisse et rien ne sort alors que le temps est précieux. Carol is saying that it is important to have good tools for effective meeting because most of the time we don't have a lot of time, but we spend it with unproductive meeting. Donc, on a aussi Talia Adekambi. Les réunions permettent de prendre des décisions importantes. Meeting allow us to take good decisions. Donc, on a Matt Web Service qui dit merci, Monsieur Foucault. Donc, someone is thanking Mr. Foucault. Lastly, Cédric Bachirou. L'empathie a capacité à entrer en connexion avec une personne ou un groupe. Elle constitue un sentiment d'unité qui élève chacun au-dessus des différences. Okay, Cedric is saying that empathy is a capacity who make people to work in groups, to understand each other. And it is a feeling of unity, of unity, and it is amongst all differences between people. Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you all so much. This has been very, very interactive. I really enjoyed this session, and I've learned a lot from you guys as well, and which is why I always wanted to be interactive. I'd like to thank you, Buku and Foucault, as well for their contributions today. Thank you, and everyone, very active and very useful perspectives and examples and excellent questions. Thank you. And see you guys on Tuesday. Is it Tuesday or is it Thursday?
It's Thursday, next week, Thursday. Yes.
See you next week, Thursday then, by God's
Thank
grace.
you very much, Matt. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really enjoyed the session as well. Thank you. And thank you to Foucault as well for the translation. Okay, so now we've come to the end of the second TOEWay Masterclass series. And the next one will be on Thursday next week. I'm going to send an email as usual, so you're well informed way ahead of the session. So just to give you like just a brief overview, I know that a lot of people have been sending emails, sending in inquiries and complaints. We will try as much as possible to respond to all your emails timely, following the turnaround time, which is 24 hours to respond to emails and 72 hours for resolution. Also to mention that the attendance link is just below in the YouTube page. Kindly click on the link. It's a survey link, and just put in your name, your country, valid email address, and then just fill in your attendance. Very important. We're taking the attendance seriously this time around, so please ensure to click on the link if you are streaming live to mark your attendance. Also, we're going to be sending you the business plan template tomorrow. So we're sending that via email, so you can start putting together your business plan. Just from all the learnings, we've done the business plan masterclass, how to develop a compelling business plan. So all the learnings you got from that particular session, you can start putting them together into one cohesive document, and we will let you know when you can start submitting. And as we go along, we will keep sharing more information, and we'll try as much as possible again to respond to all your emails. So we've come to the end of the session. I will just allow Foucault translate all that I've mentioned, and we would end the session. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. Sorry, ma'am.
I was just going to say before you Foucault translates, I just wanted to point out that you're demonstrating the TOE way by responding to emails within 24 hours. So well done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ron. Thank you. Okay, so over to you, Foucault, to translate so we can end the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibukun. Donc, pour les informations générales, comme à l'accoutumée, vous avez la fiche de présence qui est dans la zone de description de YouTube. Donc, veuillez la remplir, s'il vous plaît. Ça compte pour votre performance dans ce parcours de formation 2022. Donc, Ibukun aussi s'excuse pour tous les emails que vous envoyez. Elle dit qu'il n'y a pas de souci. Elle va répondre, elle essaie de répondre à vos emails. Et la dernière fois, on vous a conseillé de parcourir souvent la fois aux questions. Parce qu'un ensemble de mails que vous envoyez, les questions sont compilées dans une fois aux questions. Donc, elle dit aussi que le canevas de business plan est toujours en chantier, vous l'aurez incessamment. La prochaine session, c'est jeudi prochain. Ne manquez pas la prochaine session qui sera jeudi prochain. Comme d'habitude, vous allez recevoir les emails pour cette session. Donc, je pense que voilà tout ce qu'on pouvait partager aujourd'hui. Merci et portez-vous bien. Over to you, Ibukun.
Thank you very much, Focus. So thank you for joining us again, and I will see you guys next week when we come together for our TF, the reporting masterclass, which is financial reporting and record keeping on Tuesday. So until next time, bye.